Sacramento Kings and the Milwaukee Bucks had probably the biggest playoff atmosphere game that we've seen yet this season, in which it got a little testy there. We're also going to talk about Ja Morant going into a counseling program. Haize Stevo, we in the building. We about to break it all down right after this.
Thank you for tuning in to the number one place for your daily basketball fix, NBA Central. Hosted by the one and only CEO Haize.
All right, Stevo. A great game last night between the number one team in the Eastern Conference and the number three team in the Western Conference. This game took on an identity, man. Like it was a fun game through the first half. It was a fun game throughout, but then the Bucks just clearly separated themselves from the Kings. The Kings then do make another push in the fourth quarter, but it's not enough. Giannis Antetokounmpo in this game, 46 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. He did have 5 turnovers. He also was 2 of 2 from three-point range. But Chris Middleton as well, 9 of 15 from the field, 5 of 8 from three-point range, 9 rebounds, 31 points. Brooke Lopez even chips in 23. We had those 3 players combined for over 90 points. It's two teams that played last night that those 3 players alone outscored. What did you think about this game, bro?
Bro, that felt like I might get some flack by that, but I always said growing up that like a high school game feels way better than any other type of game. But that felt like a high school crowd in that mud. I was in that mud clapping at the TV like, yeah, bro, that was some playoff basketball right there. I love to see it, like, bro. And I wanted to see it because, like I said earlier in earlier videos, I feel like a lot of people been sleeping on Milwaukee because of the whole Boston fiasco and don't get me wrong, Boston been hooping, but like the Bucks been right there. And then I was like, y'all not even taking the fact that they're not even playing as good defense as they could be. Chris Middleton is out. Like, y'all not. And then when we finally see Chris Middleton shows up, I think that's what showed everybody. Like, Sacramento was beating everybody, but when you run into an actual superstar with an actual backup, that's when you run into a wall. And as you see, they tried to come back. They came back strong in that second half. They tried to make a little fourth quarter push, but they wasn't having it. And that championship experience came out. So like that's why I've always talked about with Sacramento. These the games that I'll be like, yeah, they the cold, but they got to be hot. Because when you have a team like this that knows how to, especially with a great half court team, when I think the best half court team offensively wise in the league, they could take over games like that.
Yeah, I agree, and it's tough to not realize like just how dangerous the Milwaukee and don't get me wrong, the Kings are going to make it definitely interesting in the playoffs. I do think that their inexperience with playoff atmosphere games are going to come back to bite them, especially as they get further in the playoffs. But the Bucks just continue to show, like, listen, people forgot they were just they've won a title, right? We know what the Bucks can be. So the way that they played was amazing, and I do think that when it comes down to that Boston versus Bucks, that it seems like we're ultimately going to get at some point. It keeps being hard to not give the Bucks, as much as I hate the Milwaukee, but I hate all Milwaukee teams. A Chicago fan,
the most ugliest city in the. I'm sorry, that downtown is old looking in a mug. I'm sorry,
but you got to respect what they're able to do. When you have Chris Middleton playing like he did today and being that true second fiddle to Giannis Antetokounmpo, and keep in mind in this game, Bobby Portis didn't even have a big impact, or not scoring wise off the bench. He only took 1 shot. He only scored 3 points. And when you have Jay Crowder there, you have Bobby Portis there. They also added Goran Dragic, who hasn't played for them yet, who could come in and clutch in certain situations for them. You can't overlook the Milwaukee Bucks, and they continue to show like, hey, we gonna be here when it comes time to talking about title contenders.
Facts. Like, there's so many people I'm looking on this bench. Like, you didn't we all know Javon Carter can go off for a little tangent. We already know what Connaughton can get hot. He turned to a pure shooter out of anywhere. Like, Crowder didn't do much. He was only 2 for 5. Like, this is one team you don't want to face in the playoffs. They're tailor made for the playoffs. You cannot slow down. If you slow down, they're gonna play whoever they play against. They're gonna play their style. You can't make them play any type of other way. Like, you force them to shoot, they can shoot, but they still gonna get what they want to do, especially in the half court. So like, it's just one of those teams you just don't want to see first.
For sure. Now, we can't talk about this game without talking about the ejections and the little tussle there towards the end. Trey Lyles, Brooke Lopez. Trey Lyles really did start it with shoving Giannis Antetokounmpo. Brooke Lopez wasn't having none of that. But here's the perspective that I want to give. Not that I want to see players fight. Don't want to see that. But you do have to have an edge to come to playoff time. And it seems like the Kings are slowly building that. Does that not remind you a little bit of the Chris Webber Kings?
I was just about to say
just
some
a little bit of
little Doug Chris. I say, ooh, okay, I like
Doug
that,
Chris, bro. Yeah, for sure.
I was like, I like that little. You need a little, like, you can't just all be high fives at the end of the game. I want to see a little animosity. Like, I want to see a little something. Like, now I ain't expect him to grip his head like that and muff him straight in the face like that. But like, bro, I'm sorry, that man cup. You let that, first of all, Brook Lopez, that's a large man.
Yeah.
So on his hand, he cuffed that man head. That's another stuff. But I'm just saying, yeah, I'm not into the fight. Like, you know, of course, in this NBA, nobody gonna fight. Like, we all know that. That's the best you gonna get. So they label that as a fight. But in any parts of the world, that's not fighting. So like, I don't mind seeing it. I hope they ain't seeing this as a problem, because it's not a problem, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they got ejected. I hope no suspensions come down from it. Nothing's come out yet, as that I've seen as of this recording. But listen, these are people battling, man. It's gonna get a little tension from time to time. Like, nobody threw any punches. That's a good thing there. Now, if you throw some punches, I feel like you got to get suspended. But you know what? Call me old school. Call me whatever you want. I want to see teams get a little bit like this. Like, not all the time, but like, we live in an era of basketball where sometimes we look at it like, hey, do you not just realize they just kicked your ass? Because like, the players all smiling and dapping up afterwards. I want a little bit of that tension, bro.
Exactly. Like I said, we're not asking for no fights. We just ask for a little, just like, bro, y'all are playing a competitive sport. Like, you shouldn't be in this mud getting dunked on and smiling about it. That don't match. That don't even match the sport. Like, go play tennis. Like, I've seen more tennis women and men getting one mad, they slamming rackets. Like, come on. Like, you need that. I just feel like you need that when it comes to stuff like that, especially in the playoffs. You don't want no old salvo. Good job, buddy. Everybody, this ain't college. Come on.
No. We got to fight. No, but let's move into the next topic, man, and that is Ja Morant, bro. We got to talk about it. I know you don't like talking Ja, but Ja has now entered a counseling program. There is no timetable for his return. And I want to talk about this both from the positive and I guess negative or neutral side. But I do want to say this before we get started. I know you're about to go in. I do commend the Memphis Grizzlies for getting them help in the middle of a playoff run. There are, like, years ago, there would have been teams be like, hey, Ja's dealing with something. We'll deal with that with the offseason. We got to make these playoffs. And the Grizzlies still, I think they won, the last 3 in a row. But for them to send him away to get this help, and it's clearly something, you know, we all talked about the gun. We had a live stream during it, but it's clearly something more than that. And while they're not releasing it, I don't know if it's some substance. I don't know if it's depression, whatever it is. I don't want to report. I can speculate all day, but I don't want to report on anything because I don't know. But they did say this, that Ja said, you got to get help and work on learning better methods of dealing with stress and my overall well-being. That to me paints a little bit of a picture. You guys can take from that what you want to with it. What do you think about Ja entering this program in Florida and the Grizzlies backing him in this?
Hey, I like it. I want something. I need something, because like, people when they first said initially 2 games, I was like, no. Like, I almost want to say take the season. I want to be harsh right now. The reason I want to be harsh is so you can get the lesson early. I don't need you to make no more mistakes after this. I need you to get it to your head now. Like, bro, because me personally, I am sick and tired. Like, I've noticed everything in my life, everything I like personally, like favor from rapper to entertainer, something goes wrong. And I'm sick of seeing that. Can you sit there? I don't care if you gonna play, bro. You ain't winning nowhere this year. You lost your key player in your team. Get help. You got a family. You have a daughter. Like, come on, bro. Like, the one thing I really wish, I hope and pray he has a good relationship or finds a way to get a good relationship with DeJounte Murray. I feel like DeJounte Murray can really help him, because watching this interview, he like, bro, at a young age, I did everything you doing. I done been to the clubs. I done seen the money. I done bought the car. Now I don't want to do it. I just want to hoop, raise my daughter. They like the same person. He's just a little bit older. So I'm like, I need players around the league that have been in similar situations to really become a mentor if he's willing. Because yes, it takes two. So Ja gotta be willing to have help, which it sounds like he is.
Yeah.
Like so, but we all know we got family members too. They say it too. I need help, but they don't really mean it. So we
That's
gonna
fact.
see if he need help. But I want them to be as harsh as possible right now, so he can get an understanding and a clear direction. Cause bro, you already like, bro, people are already starting to reel back, bro. Come
Yeah.
on, bro. You a black dude with locks. They don't even let they don't the fact that you getting opportunity from like Powerade and people like that. Powerade
Yeah.
have had an athlete in 5 years, and they got you and your father on there.
Yeah. That they've since pulled. So,
That now they pull like, bro.
yeah.
As you can see, bro, you a black man. I'm gonna keep saying you're a black man with locks, that with a country accent. Come on, bro, and they willing to work with you and make you the face of the league, and you finna mess it up, bro. Come on.
And the thing is, like, we all made fun of Ja with the gun, and that was something that should have been made fun because that's still that little ass gun. But here's what I'll say is that nobody teaches as a young black man or young people, period, right? How to deal with success, how to deal with money. I tell you what, if somebody gave me millions of dollars when I was 23, I'd probably be dead right now. I'm just gonna be honest with you, bro. And so, like, Ja needs to change the people around him, and hopefully, what he learns in this program, whatever he is he got to come out and he has to look at the people around him. And anybody who's not going to be invested in you making the necessary changes that you need to make, they got to get cut out, bro. There's a lot of people that are going to try to freeload. There's a lot of people who are going to have fun because they get in to be in the clubs, they're getting to drink the whatever y'all drinking, they getting to throw the money, they ain't earning shit. The one thing that was different about what LeBron did with his people is he put his people in positions to succeed and build their own brand. You have to have people around you that are just so you're not to blame everything on Ja's people around him, because you still have to have a level of personal responsibility about your own future. But people really don't teach young people how to deal with success. That's something that comes over time. And a lot of these athletes, they're thrown in with success, money, nobody telling them no. They can do whatever they want to, and they haven't even matured yet as individuals. So hopefully Ja gets that in this time, man.
And yeah, and I had to look at it the same way because there's a lot of people that's like me that at first my first thought was like, bro, I'm your same age, bro. I ain't never did nothing that stupid. Like,
Yeah.
but I also had to look back and be like, bro, I had a great upbringing. I had a lot of people around me. I had a lot of uncles and great men in my life. So I don't know what he had. So it's like I'm blessed to say I had that. I'm just praying that he gets it. Cause it's like I said earlier, a man is always tested when he's handed everything.
That's when you're absolutely
When
right.
you handed everything, you gonna see the real person is gonna come out. Your real morals and everything is gonna come out. So like, he gotta get these vets gotta get on him, because that's one thing I will say about this league is the league is pushing out vets, and vets are important to have in the locker room for outside stuff, not just on the floor. Because he got it on the floor. We ain't too much worried about on the floor.
Yeah.
It's outside. They got people to look up to. Like you look up a lot. Like I made the example. Like if you look at a lot of people that have mentors, they model their mentors. Kobe had most of his mentors was fathers. He became a father. Like if your AI didn't have those, AI was around dudes that party. He partied.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. So it's like you choose your mentors. You gotta make the sound decision of what you want your life to be like. Do you want to be a party dude? Yeah. Okay. If you want to be a party dude, you better go talk to AI so he could tell you how to do it correctly.
That's a great
Or
point.
you could be a LeBron family dude and go be around the people and learn from them. But but you gotta find the balance of doing it correctly in each decision you make.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Couldn't word it any better myself, brother. Now, not to end so heavy, let's go to something light before we get up out of here. The NBA is thinking about changing the minimum requirement or adding a minimum requirement of games played for their postseason awards. Right now, we're seeing 58 games to qualify. What do you guys? What do you think about that?
Yes. Yeah. Even the dog just said yes. Yes. Because I'm tired of these players like. Y'all, it's like y'all incentivized now not to play because y'all know y'all gonna get away with it. No, you need to be incentivized to play now. You can't call yourself no MVP, no most of it. No, you gotta play 58 games. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I like it too, especially in the era that we're doing management on injuries and things like that. It makes sense. And another aspect of this too that I read in another article is that I think the players also want fans to realize that sometimes it's not the players that want to sit out, it's the teams that are forcing them to sit out. And I think that this holds everyone accountable. It holds the players accountable, it holds the teams accountable, and it should always be this way, right? If you want postseason awards, it should go to the people who are able. Durability is a huge factor for playoff teams, for all these things. What does Pat the designer always say? The best ability is availability. So you have to be available for these, and so I for one, I'm glad that they are doing it. And we'll see how it's executed and pulled out. That CBA still isn't finalized yet. Hopefully, we don't go to. We better not be going towards no lockout. Figure this crap out.
No, figure it out for real.
I don't want to have to figure out content while we got a lockout. I don't want to force myself to do that. But so yeah, man, I for one, I don't mind it at all, and I do think it's a good move by the NBA to go forward with that.
Yeah, you just need to have some way to hold them accountable, just some form, because you just got people like, and another thing, I'm glad you said what you said, because we do harp on the players a lot when the players didn't create this. This was a San Antonio Greg Popovich idea. They the ones that started this for real, and other teams and players adopted it. So it's not a player thing, but it's becoming a player thing because they're almost incentivized to do it. So it's like, yeah, you just gotta find some type of a balance. Everything's about balance.
That's a fact. Well, Stevo, anything left before we go, brother?
Nah. Tune in for more episodes. We dropping them. We gotta get NBA. We gotta get NBA Central up, bro.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're killing it on everything else. We got to get NBA Central up. You guys can make sure you follow us at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. NBA Central Show @gmail.com. And lastly, you want to leave a text voicemail 773-270-2799. We about this mug. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.